And then he says, "It's my birthday!" There's fireworks, and the seats have probably got nasty things dried up in the grease.
Don't touch anything.
Don't touch anything.
Oh.
Welcome,
Hello.
one and none,
Yeah.
to Big Damn Cast. I'm Chris Johnson, otherwise known as that sinking feeling you get when you're just about to step off a bus.
And I am the devil's anus.
I want safe passage through you. It's Big Damn Cast, and we're here to talk about some nonsense and bollocks and shit.
Yeah.
In the realm of news, we're talking two items. What we got on the content, you beautiful man.
News we got the Justice League running time is out. And
Is
know,
it?
And we know
Question
how
mark.
long/short it's going to be.
Yeah.
It might surprise you. And also our favourite superhero movie on the upcoming slate, Sony Pictures' long-awaited solo Venom picture has begun production, and Twitter's got some thoughts on that.
Yes, it does. As do we. But then also we're talking a little bit about Cult of Chucky.
And also the
it's
biggest,
nearly Halloween, you know.
and also the biggest movie release of this week, The Death of Stalin.
Oh, I wish. I've not seen it.
No,
You've
I've
seen
seen
it,
it.
haven't you?
I've seen it.
Yeah. I'll get on that.
We're talking Thor, Ragnarok. It's out over here. It's not out in the States yet, so if you're listening to the stateside, warning, we will be going into spoilers a bit later on. Just skip to the time codes and you'll have to wait till next week.
Skip to the time codes, 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 skip to the time codes. But first, Justice League has announced its running time.
Yes!
Although at first there was no clear running time because different sources were saying different things. For
Well,
a
this
bit.
movie's been in different edits for...
Yeah. I mean, to the point where Twitter made a moment about it. But to be fair, Twitter made the moment from a fart, so whatevs. But yeah, it was like, hang on, Cineworld's saying this. Hang on, Views saying this. Virgin Cinema's saying this. Odeon is saying this. Like, what? What's going on? AMC have said this. What is this?
Apparently, the final running time
For the fourth movie in the Zack Snyder-influenced horrific DC not EU.
is 121 minutes long,
Wait a minute.
which is just
you
1
saying-
minute over 2 hours.
Are you saying it's a manageable 2 hours?
It's shorter than Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman feels like a shorter movie.
Oh yeah, no,
when you
Wonder
think
Woman
back to
flies
it.
by, like, it's
But that's a sign of a good film.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
the pacing's right, and
absolutely flies by.
but you know, Batman v Superman dragged,
Yeah.
Man of Steel dragged,
Yeah.
and Suicide Squad was quicker, wasn't it? Suicide Squad was like just under 2 hours, and it felt like it was shat out and stuff. But
This will be...
but what's unusual about this is the one where they're introducing 3 new main characters,
and it will be the shortest movie.
and it'll be the shortest one. Now, do you think this is entirely the Whedon reshoot influence?
I think it can't hurt. He's not getting a director's credit, by the way.
Fair enough.
He's getting a screenplay credit.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Which,
I mean, give him like second unit, like shared credit or something, maybe.
Who
So it's
knows?
like, because it would be weird to not acknowledge that he has directed a very significant portion
well,
of the
the
movie.
reshoot's director didn't get credit for Row 1. It was still credited to Gareth Edwards.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. But then again, weren't those reshoots more contained? Like they were like a 3 or 4 week process,
I've
whereas this
no idea.
has been hefty rewrites of the movie and
I suppose.
Lord knows what. But at the same time, it's probably not the best thing at the moment, especially in the current climate of uncomfortable sexual
What climate
tension
that, Christopher?
within Hollywood to credit a sort of false feminist adulterer as your director. So yeah.
Yeah.
Instead, we'll just put up the. I'm not saying these are equal, obviously, but instead we'll just credit it to the passionless, limited talent of Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is
so
that.
how do you think they're going to fit Justice League into 2 hours?
They're not.
I
They're
mean,
not. They're not. They'll release. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why it's 2 hours, Matt. Matthew Watson.
Yeah.
Matthew Watson of Gisborne.
Is it for the same reason that...
Matthew Lahargill Watson. I'll tell you why.
Is it for the same reason that The Dark Tower was about 90 minutes long?
No. You're thinking of the wrong sins. Those are
Okay.
Sony sins. These are Warner Brothers sins.
Okay.
Justice League Cinematic Route Edition will be 121 minutes long.
Yeah.
Because then that's how they're going to sell the 140 minute Blu-ray version.
One of the early reports had they cut the movie at 170 minutes.
And that'll be what we get on Blu-ray. That's what will happen.
A nearly 3 hours long Justice League.
This would be the third DCU movie in a row since it's kick-started proper. Guaranteed they will release an extended version for home media.
What's the longest Marvel movie?
Probably Age of Ultron? Mathematically, or just how it feels?
Probably Age of Ultron in both cases.
Yeah, I imagine or Dark World maybe.
Yeah, I mean we'll talk about Dark World and the problems it has when we touch on Ragnarok later.
Oh, dirty.
But yeah,
I do love touching on Ragnarok. Oof. Hammer pulls me off. Oh no! So the longest Marvel movie is Captain America: Civil War. Do you know what? That makes sense because it's the biggest cast of all the Marvel films,
which is 2 hours 27 minutes, closely followed by the Avengers at 2 hours 23 and Avengers: Age of Ultron at 2 hours 21.
That makes sense. Those are the ones with the biggest ensemble casts and the most sort of storyline to bring together.
And early reports are Infinity War and a clock in around 2.5 hours, so just a bit longer than Civil War.
So Justice League has either somehow miraculously perfected the art of multiple superhero crossover storytelling on its first try, or Joss Whedon has hacked out loads of unnecessary chuffer, streamlined the story as best he can, and they're going to sell us a longer cut on home video. And it'll be yet another DC movie I don't bother buying. Like, notice how Wonder Woman isn't an extended edition.
No, because they probably didn't shoot a lot of shit they didn't need.
Yeah, and it's a damn fine movie. They did what I'm saying, but also they don't have to try and sell the home edition to make more money because people enjoyed it or heard that it was good, so we're just going to buy it.
Well, I think Wonder Woman has the advantage of one being a tighter script to start with, and two not having all the inverted commas universe building stuff to shoehorn in that killed BVS, that bogged down Age of Ultron and Iron Man 2. Like, it doesn't have any of that stuff, so it just tells its story, licks along, and it's still an extra 2 hours, but it doesn't feel it because it just whips right through the story.
Do you know what's interesting? In theatres, trailers at the moment are always sort of behind the online release.
Yeah, because I got the Black Panther trailer when I saw Thor yesterday, and it's the first trailer, it's not the new one.
Yeah, we saw Thor this morning, and it was the Black Panther trailer, immediately followed by the first Justice League trailer. The one that ends with, I hear you can talk to fish. Like, do.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's that. Yeah, it's the one where it's like Arthur Curry, the Aquaman.
The one I got was the one that ends with dressed like a bat.
That's it. Yeah, no, that's right. You're right. Yeah, no, the why he talks fish was the San Diego reel, wasn't it?
Oh yeah,
or the New York Comic Con reel. No, it's the San Diego reel from last year.
Yeah, the trailer that's not a trailer.
Oh my god, it came out a year and a bit ago. Oh god. Yeah, this was the first trailer from like March or whatever. Yeah. The one that I got attacked for on frickin' Twitter.
Yeah.
Arsehole. That was one play. And it was, Did you get?
I didn't know James Hetfield was playing Aquaman.
Did you? I didn't know the postman from Rick and Morty was playing Aquaman.
I'm gonna have to go and see. I gotta see if I can get backstage and talk to him about it when I see Metallica on Saturday. Like, James, how does it feel to be in Justice League?
Talk to me, James.
Oh yeah.
So you James, or you Macho Man? I like it. You Macho Man Randy Savage now.
That's what James Hetfield sounds
I know, but you were virgin on Macho Man.
Ooh yeah. James Hetfield is turning into Macho Man Randy Savage, and Jason Momoa is doing an impression of them both in Aquaman.
Were that just the trailer, I'd be like, okay, I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
But so did you get Black Panther then the Justice League trailer?
Yes.
What a dull juxtaposition that was.
I know. Like,
the first Black Panther trailer is a teaser. It's so much a teaser. It doesn't show you a lot.
Look at this exciting,
the mood is
movie that still has shadow and because there's bits of it where he's hiding in the shadows and there's the city stuff.
The dog, but it's preceded with a dog barking up a tree at him. So it's like there's still this sort of this lighter tone.
And also just like all the stuff of Wakanda, this glittering, wonderful city hidden in the mountains of Africa. And
step into the spotlight, like the song, and Circus at the beginning, I can see you, and all that stuff.
Andy Serkis, man, just having the time of his fucking life in that.
Just the visuals. But that's what I'm saying, like, they played that and they played the first Justice League trailer, but the thing I noticed the most was the Justice League trailer.
It's dour.
It's so different from the two that have followed it.
Yeah.
So different. It's bleak. And it looks dour, and apart from I dig it. Like, it's just bleak.
Yeah!
They said the heroes would never come. The age of heroes would never come again.
Who?
Who said that?
Who said that? What age of heroes?
It's trailer dialogue, and also it's their first. It's their first tagline, which is "Justice for All," which they've abandoned.
It could be worse. It could be the world's changing, which they do in the Black Panther trailer. To be fair, that
World's
famous-
changing, boys. Time we change too.
The world has changed. The world is changing. The world's changing.
21st century is when it all changes, and you've got to be ready.
Oh God!
But do you know, it's like their tagline originally was "Unite the Seven," and then they gave up on that because they obviously dropped a character.
Well, I think that might be to do with Aquaman.
I don't know.
Because
I don't know.
Jason Momoa has been coming out and saying that people might not like his Aquaman movie because he's not King of the Seven Seas yet. And you won't see that until the end of it.
Hey everybody!
And
you're not gonna like my movie. This man
you won't see that until the end of his first Aquaman movie.
Jason Momoa is a walking PR fuck up. Oh look, it's cool. He drinks beers and throws tomahawks. Yeah, and then he makes rape sound like a comedy thing in a panel. It's like this man is a fuck Marvel. He says, and it's like this guy's a walking PR fuck up. He's horrific. But a nice bloke. Lucy got an autograph off him once.
Apart from the rape joke.
He was lovely. But then you see the stuff he does and you go, you are an idiot.
You're an idiot.
You're an idiot. I don't think you're nasty. I just think you're an idiot.
But people love him because he has a beard and throws axes. Oh, God. He's a cool dad.
Who does that? I don't think people will like my movie because... No, excuse me. You've already said the first half of the sentence. That's now the thing you said.
He's prepared for people not to like his movie because...
But that's...
You
don't say... You say, oh, it's going to be great. James Wan's doing a brilliant job and the script's great. That's what you say. You don't say people aren't going to like the movie. You say it's the journey of Arthur becoming the King of the Seas. You say that and people go,
he's like,
oh shit, cool.
But he's like, no, he's not the King of the Seven Seas and he won't be till the end of the first movie, so, you know. It's like, what the fuck, dude?
He's so stupid. He's so stupid. Oh my god, and this movie looks terrible. The last trailer made me feel a little more optimistic because the colour palette at least made it look visually interesting. It was like it's like if someone went into a Zack Snyder movie and went, okay, we've got that bit of red, but why don't we get a splash of red?
Let's just turn the saturation right up.
Yeah, now that could get really sickly, but it at least suddenly looked like these comic book characters from the whimsical... Because like the Justice League are whimsical as fuck.
I'm thinking that Flash might end up being the best thing about this movie. From the little I've seen him in the trailer.
Yeah, it's reminding me of Justice League animated series Flash.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Which
then reminds me of my favourite moment from the Justice League animated series ever. Which is when Lex Luthor's in the Flash's body.
Good. So good.
And it's he's sort of undercover and everything's fucking up. He just goes, well, at least I can find out the Flash's secret identity from the bathroom mirror. And he lifts up the mask. He looks, he smirks, and he just goes, I have no idea who this is.
When we had some kids around last weekend. It was the weekend before. We watched a bunch of that first season of Justice League, about 15 episodes, and just Flash is fucking great in it.
He's brilliant. Tonally, he's absolutely spot on.
I'm the fastest man alive. And maybe that's why you can't get a date. Hey!
And it's weird how refreshing that is now compared to TV Flash, which was sort of fun and is
started
now
off really fun, and then it's just gone like the
it's
last
gone
season,
arrow.
It went so arrow.
Has season 4 started?
Not watched it.
Same.
Yes, it's watched it. It started, but
that says so much, doesn't it?
The ratings have dropped as well. Like it's the lowest it's ever been.
Was because we had 3 series of his villain is someone who runs fast. Yep. How did he solve the problem? He ran faster.
You've got to run faster, Barry.
And what happened at the end? He went in a portal. Am I right? That is the end of every series.
He went in a portal.
Running in circles. The show is running in circles, and no amount of Cisco is ever going to bring me back to the point where I was with like series 2. Series
Cisco,
2 was when I was like, I dig this show so much.
Yeah, season 2 was a strong point.
And then series 3 started that way.
And then
I was bored.
It got boring.
Oh man. Which is, I think, why the speculation's been going on this week. Slight tangent, we're keeping with DC. The speculation's been going on this week that Batman's being introduced in Arrow at some point.
They've name-dropped Bruce Wayne.
They name-dropped Bruce Wayne specifically. And after a couple... There's like Wayne Industries has been mentioned, I think, in The Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
And Flash, apparently, in one of the episodes, has like a Wayne logo on something. So it's like, people are going, are they sowing the seeds? And it's like, I'll be honest, I think what you do is you plan to end the Berlanti shows in like a year or whatever, and you have one big event crossover, and you just fucking blow your wad, and you put Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman in it. Just do it. Just do like a big crossover. Have a last episode for each of the things, and then one more episode for each show that is a crossover.
They've done all sorts of nonsense to it. Like, they mentioned Gotham in Supergirl, even though it's a different universe.
Yeah, well, but it's also like the same as Our Earth, just it's different in it, and they're gonna bring her over eventually. They'll do it.
Well, she keeps coming over for crossovers.
I'm surprised they didn't do it with Flash. I'm surprised after Flashpoint they didn't just sort of go like, "Oh, the universes are a bit fucked up, and now you're here."
Well, they did, but they didn't merge.
Like, no, that's what I mean. Like,
yeah,
they should have just merged it.
Like, inexplicably changed Diggle's son to Diggle's daughter.
That was stupid.
For some reason.
That was stupid.
I don't know.
But like an Invasion, which I've been tempted to buy, actually. They've released that on DVD as its own thing,
okay.
Invasion crossover. Like an Invasion, they don't say like she's from another dimension explicitly.
Yeah.
Just like she's a friend. They're like, oh shit, okay, cool. So you could very easily, in Flash, retcon where Kara's existence is. In Flash. Because you'd only have to mention it in Flash. And then in her show, you can just, like, a couple times, some people can be like, oh, what are you, the Flash? Like, so it's like, they're acknowledging other shows.
They did the first crossover in Supergirl.
Yeah, well, yeah, he appeared in an episode of Supergirl, didn't he? Yeah, because the preview
about...
image was that freaking, it was like the Superman and Flash racing image. It was beautiful.
But they explicitly talk about him coming from another universe.
Yeah.
Or another Earth.
Yeah, but again, without being continuity heavy, they could just in Supergirl, I think you could just accept that they're all in the same world without ever having to mention it.
Because like multi-Earth travel has become such a big thing in Flash.
Yeah.
Like,
maybe that's why it's getting boring, because it's like there's not as much capers or anything anymore.
Well, but they got to go to Villa City on Earth too and stuff like that. So
which was cool, but it was one episode.
Yeah, but the fact that they can do stuff like that, they're just not willing to.
And it was the majority of the season's budget.
Yeah, so, you know.
And they do a musical episode, which was so-so.
It was so-so.
It's like Victor Garber? Beautiful. Nice. Barrowman? Of course they were going to get Barrowman in it. Of course they were.
Victor Garber is stepping down as a series regular on Legends of Tomorrow.
He is, which I'm surprised didn't happen sooner.
But that's also because he's going into Broadway.
Again?
Yeah.
Garber's treading the boards?
Yeah.
He's fucking fabulous, isn't he?
He's fabulous. He's great in everything he's in. Let's talk about something else that's fabulous.
You love Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
You love the villains of Spider-Man. Probably the second best rogues gallery, if not joint first rogues gallery in comic books.
Yes.
Yeah, freaking brilliant. Like,
I would argue he rivals Batman's rogues gallery.
Yeah, Batman's are more sort of like, there's more of a depth to them and all that sort of stuff. Spider-Man's do have that too. But Spider-Man's the most visually exciting sort of villains. You've got a big lizard and a lab coat. You've got a man with a fishbowl head surrounded by mist.
His best villains do the same as Batman's villains, the mirror aspects of him.
Yeah, like the part, there is a mirror image to a degree.
Which is what I liked about the Animal Totem stuff, because it's like
because it was like,
all the animalistic characters in his rogues gallery are attempting to sort of...
It's on purpose. Just no one realised it before. Yeah. You love Venom, right? I like Venom.
I am...
Child me fucking loved Venom.
I mean, I loved Venom in the animated series, but the animated series is bad.
Adult me loves the Daniel Way mini-series that's basically the thing that then turns into a Venom story in New York. And I really like the Flash Thompson Venom stuff.
I have not read the Daniel Way Venom. I liked what I did read of the Rick Remender Flash Thompson Venom, which was about, I think I read...
Did you read any Thunderbolts when you joined Thunderbolts?
I didn't read any Thunderbolts.
I read the first volume, I think.
I read up to Circle of 4.
Yeah.
Or a bit longer than that. I've read Minimum Carnage. So I've read it.
It's a bit further past, yeah.
So I've read a good chunk of the Rick Remender Venom. Oh, well, I think he came off just after Minimum Carnage.
He ended it with...
Just Cullen Bunn took over.
Hang on. Okay, I'm going to lower my chair so I can read the spine on the book cover. You ready?
Cullen Bunn took over the run, and I stopped reading it when Cullen Bunn took over, I think. Or just after.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Bunn wrote The Land Where Killers Dwell.
Yeah.
And Toxin with a Vengeance.
Yeah, so I didn't read those.
Yeah, so Minimum Carnage. Yeah, Minimum Carnage was a Carnage series, but it tied.
It was a crossover.
It was a crossover between Deadpool and Venom.
No, you think of something else. Minimum Carnage was a crossover between
Scarlet Spider and Venom. Yeah, I'm thinking of Deadpool versus Carnage.
Yeah.
Which was fine. It was interesting because it was like, yay, Carnage can actually be a serial killer up against a hero who
Scarlet Spider wasn't great.
It was beautifully short. Like they didn't over egg it. Do you know what I mean?
And they're doing it again, aren't they?
Yeah, but with Ben
Ben
Riley,
Reilly.
I've not touched any of it. I just pick up the
Neither have
amazing
I.
trades now when they come out.
I'm so
instead.
far behind on Spider-Man, I really need to catch up because I liked what Dan Slott was doing
Yeah.
up until when I stopped reading, which was around Spider-Verse.
The last stuff I read was the Osborn conspiracy. The Osborn conspiracy?
Oh, God.
Is it there?
Osborn.
Osborn Summit.
Hang on.
It's the last one of those black spined ones.
Yeah, Osborn Identity.
I don't see that.
Why have you got Spider-Man after Worldwide?
Oh no, because my Spider-Man's chronological from here through to Osborn Identity, and then after that it's just sort of either tie-ins or random one-off stories or ones that I can't place in the continuity because they're minis and things like that.
Spider-Man...
I use Spider-Man to separate them because it's just the biggest book, so you can sort of see where the separation is between the ongoing and all the random books.
That's not where Spider-Man goes.
No, but it also isn't, like, there isn't a specific place in the continuity where you could slot it. Like, this is all Amazing Spider-Man with occasional friendly neighbourhoods and sensationals if they're part of an ongoing story. Like, Civil War, for example, I think is there, because that's obviously all the Spider titles, but they all played at the same time.
We'll have a conversation about Spider-Man another day and Spider-Man continuity.
I want to read Spider-Man 2. Has it been coming out yet?
It's out.
I would like to read that.
I don't think it's got one more issue to go.
Because I think they reveal...
Yeah, they go into the
616 Miles Morales. Yeah.
Which is even weirder now, considering that actual Miles Morales is in 616.
Yeah, it feels like a story they wanted to tell before all the Secret Wars stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, point is, I like Venom. I like the idea of Venom. I enjoyed him more as a kid. Sometimes writers do something with him where I'm like, that's freaking cool.
Most times writers don't.
No, most times writers don't. But like Mark Millar, for example, in Marvel Knights, does something really cool with him.
Yeah.
Like, Eddie Brock is, like, his cancer's coming back, and he's been repenting, and he decides, right, I'm getting rid of the symbiote. So, he auctions it off at a supervillain black market auction, and gives all the money to charity, and a mobster buys it for his son to try and prove something of himself. I think his name's Angelo or something. And,
yeah.
And the first thing it does when he puts it on is he's like, right, where's Spider-Man? Of course, the symbiote's like, right, hang on. Peter Parker's that way. He's like, right, who? Oh, fuck it. I don't care about his name. Let's go kill him. Let's go kill Spider-Man. So he attacks Peter at like a Midtown High reunion. And there's this brilliant bit where, like, basically he's leaping between buildings and the symbiote says, no, you're pathetic. I'm done. And he's like, you can't go. He said, sorry, Angela, you just don't have the venom. And he just lets go of him mid-leap.
Nice.
And this guy just plummets to his death. Like, that's an interesting, do you know what I mean? And then later in that story, it latches onto Matt Gargan because it's just like, oh, this could be fun. And then the stuff that happened with Gargan as part of Osborn's Avengers was kind of nice when he was Venom. Like, that worked out. He was just like the monster for hire, working with the bad guys and having
this
fun.
little pill that made him a regular Spider-Man.
Yeah, so it made him look small and all contained, which again was fair enough.
Which
like part of the
same
facade.
thing again with Aya Peck in the next Dark Avengers.
Yeah, Jesus, yeah. So it's, like, there's some interesting stuff can be done with it. I think when he first arrived, when you read, like, the first volumes of it, which I think I've got, Venom there, I've got a little shelf of the UK weird mini pocketbook reprints. That's got his first appearances in. His first storyline from Spider-Man as Venom.
Birth of Venom. I've got a Birth of Venom hard.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Like, that's a pretty cool story, the way it's handled, and like, it's the first villain to just literally go to his apartment and basically show up in front of Mary Jane and be like, hi, I might kill you. I just want you to let you know I'm going to kill your boyfriend and I want you to tell him that I've been here.
Thanks!
And she's traumatized because it's the first time since they've been married and since they've been together where a villain has paid her a personal visit to deliver a message. And it's a villain who looks like a sort of 7-foot tall, black, gooey Spider-Man with giant razor-sharp teeth.
I love a gooey Spider-Man.
Dirty bastard. I do. All the same, and here's the point we're getting to, all the same, I don't think we're fucked about Venom being in a movie. Like, maybe a fourth or a fifth movie in a series.
Not a solo movie.
But certainly not a solo movie, and certainly not a Sony-led solo movie, part of their spin-off. Now, okay, Amy Pascal announced that they were doing Venom during a early press event for Spider-Man, Homecoming.
Yeah, we talked about it.
And Kevin Feige was like, sorry, what? And they confirmed that Venom is set in the MCU the same way the Netflix shows are set in the MCU. They're not really going to ever reference it. And the other movies are never going to reference it. Because, guess what? It's a hard R rating they're aiming for, and they want it to be a horror movie. But here's the thing. You don't get Venom without Spider-Man. Now, you could do a story about a symbiotic life form that, like, latches onto people and stuff, but you could just do that in general. Like, to make it Venom kind of needs to be part of Spider-Man's story.
It's kind of his whole thing.
The other day, Venom movie arrived on Twitter. Verified account. Sony led, with a picture and a caption just says day one. And the picture appears to be Tom Hardy and a director and someone taking notes in a rehearsal room.
It appears to be Tom Hardy. Maybe it's not actually Tom Hardy.
Oh, I think from the tats.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah, you swine. You swine! I just want to read the responses, because I don't want this movie. I don't want it. It's ridiculous. Because I think what's happening now, I think Pascal's doing this and she's doing Silver and Black, which is a Silver Sable and Black Cat story. Because, you know, like the leader of an espionage and mercenary gang who are trying to liberate people back in their home country in Eastern Europe, and a cat burglar from New York are obviously the story you want to tell. What is this? Two characters who, bless them, aren't particularly interesting unless they're part of the tapestry that is Spider-Man's ongoing story. You can do solo stuff with Black Cat if you want, but she's just going to come off as knockoff Catwoman to the mainstream audience, so what's the point? But what the plan is, it seems they're going to do that, and they're going to do Venom, and then, after Homecoming 2, that's the end of the current, like, contracted deal with Marvel for the MCU use of Spider-Man. So what they're going to do is they're going to retroactively bring that Spider-Man back into their own subsection of the MCU, their own Spider-Man cinematic universe, and he's going to carry on there. No, thank you!
No.
But
That's not going to happen.
I just wanted to bring up the responses to the tweets.
Tell me the responses to the
Avaganda. First one's a
Tell
little
me,
community gif of Donald Glover giving the thumbs up. Ah, the movie no one gives a shit about, says Grumbly Gunk, which I quite like.
Let me do the voices.
Okay.
Hubert Mungus
This is great, go for
says,
it. Read it as spelt as well, because this is a little treat.
because you should not connect to the greatest cinematic universe of all time, it obviously will shook, just like that crappy movie Deadpool.
And what I like there is he's misspelt everything in an attempt to insult the person who's not excited for the movie.
Yes.
But that just makes it look like he's an idiot who's taken
Yes.
way too much time to type that out.
Danny Allen, at Danny Allen XP, says, it's connected, it just won't have Iron Man cameos every 10 minutes like Spider-Man Homecoming.
And then some of these guys get into a big debate about Tony Stark.
Have you seen Spider-Man Homecoming? Tony Stark isn't in it that much. Are you kidding me? It's practically Iron Man 4. Thought was best at Iron Man, not Spider. Pete was trying to best Tony the entire time. Okay, just because Tony Stark plays a big role doesn't mean he's not going to be Iron Man 4. Pretty much Iron Man was the whole movie they turned... No, what?
Yeah, fanboys! Fan wanking
No.
over each other. They're fansplaining to each other.
Still think it's a huge missed opportunity not to have Venom as part of the MCU. Has someone learned nothing?
And then
Says
someone
Devin
drops,
Reed.
someone drops a truth bomb. Marvel wouldn't let it be R-rated as a horror film. That's true. There was discussions, and
that's
Marvel said
true.
we don't want an R-rated film
True.
in the MCU. And the thing is, Sony are obviously going to try and market Venom to teens. So why not just, like, save him for a Spider-Man sequel
Yeah.
and aim it at older kids, like not the young ones, and teens?
Why the rush to do a Venom movie?
It's probably a rights thing. I wonder if Venom's he's part of the Spider-Man rights.
Yeah.
But because he's such of his own property, I wonder if there's a bit of a technicality there. Let's scroll down. I want to find a couple more of my faves.
Lots of stuff.
Where is it? There's a few that I really enjoyed.
Plenty of gifs.
Plenty of people just putting simple gifs of like Tom Hardy smiling.
A lot of love for Tom Hardy.
There's a lot that seems to be the recurring thing. A lot of people are excited to see Tom Hardy play the role.
Is he going to do his Bane voice like he does in those phone adverts at the moment?
Oh,
There's all the
God.
different films.
Hopefully the hero
no.
one, since they said Carnage was going to be the villain, hopefully that's true. I mean, if you're going to do an R-rated symbiote movie, that is your one time where you can get away with Carnage and it not be weird.
Yeah.
But you don't get Carnage without Venom. You don't get Venom without Spider-Man. Lots of people going, how is this going to work without Spider-Man exactly? Slightly hope they screw this up so Venom can be in a Spider-Man movie instead of some BS Sony universe. Better not ruin the Spider-Man franchise.
They already did that. Someone zings back. Wonderful.
Oh, God, somebody who doesn't get how production works. Let's go, boys. Now give me that first look at Venom, please. I don't think he's ready on day one of the production.
Lots of Venom statues, lots of Venom fan art. Some Tom Hardy has Venom fan art.
Someone's saying the soundtrack suggestions, they should use Venom.
Black Metal by Venom, yes. That's an album.
I have faith in Tom Hardy. That's right, that's nice.
Hardy approves, according to that gif.
Adam Williams. So Sony screw up Spider-Man, Marvel get it back on track, and then Sony decide they want another shot of fucking it up. Great idea.
Yeah.
I can't believe this is actually happening.
Lol.
Proper excited for this movie. Hardy will no doubt do it justice.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Right. Why are you even a thing? No Spider-Man was harmed during the making of this movie.
Better not be.
I'm excited for Hardy as Brock, and Riz Ahmed is in it. So, well, yeah, I'm excited. I mean, it's an interesting cast, but it's like, it still doesn't, that's like, but here's one of my favourite things. This is amazing, right? How the fuck can you not have Spider-Man? Venom and Spider-Man is like Batman to Joker. Says Crazy Clown 124.
Not quite.
Someone says, well, but I understand to the 90s kids particularly, Venom is Spidey's nemesis.
No,
like,
Green Goblin Spider-Man.
He is, but at the same time, the 90s Venom was like his, like, this is his big bad.
Yeah, but no, Green Goblin is Spider-Man's nemesis.
I think it's generational. I think depending on how old you are,
no, Chris,
it's either Green Goblin. Hang on. I'm talking about opinions of people throughout the ages. It's either Green Goblin, Doc Ock, or Venom. I think we both know it's Green Goblin.
Yeah.
Because the idea of the Green Goblin haunts him throughout his whole life in different forms. And it's very much his arch nemesis. Osborn died, was left dead, and then came back in a fucking glorious fashion. And it worked.
Was it, though?
Once he was back, yes, absolutely. Peter back in the mantle, and Osborn being a menace again. It was great. His initial reveal was a bit like, who's this? Like 8-year-old me. Who's this? I don't get it. Who is this guy? Who is this? Who's Norman Osborn? But someone put, isn't DC making a Joker movie without Batman? It's like, oh yeah. Good point.
Sake.
Good point. So
I've forgotten about that.
I don't want this film. So it's like doing a Moriarty film without Sherlock. Well, I'll be perfectly honest. I don't want either of those things.
If we never get another Sherlock adaptation, it'll be too soon.
Yeah, unless it's like insanely old school Sherlock. In which case, fair enough. I'd be kind of confident with that.
Well, we've got the resurrecting Peter Cushing tech from Rogue One, so let's just remake Howard the Duck.
No,
Penny.
Colin Baker, Sherlock Holmes. I'd watch the shit out of that.
I would watch that.
No joke. I would watch the shit out of that. Anyway,
we can resurrect Jeremy Brett with CGI.
Just to point out as well, this is day one of production.
Day
Venom.
one of
yeah,
production.
And it looks like a rehearsal photo, if not like some vocal stuff.
Or
yeah?
like a script meeting or whatever.
I think there's a script. I think a script.
Yeah, but like a read through sort of table read.
Would you like to know when it's coming out?
Next year.
October 2018.
Fuck.
With a lead character whose main physical trait, is an ever-moving, living skin.
He's a big old goo person.
Yeah, so, CGI heavy. We've got a year.
Yeah, but look, I mean, they did it really well with Spawn.
From utter shit to schlock. This past week, we've been doing a big old mini-series over on my YouTube channel and on our Big Damn channel called Chucky Watch. I've revisited all the Chucky movies and I've been joined from 10 to 10 by this handsome young man sat in front of me. All in the run-up to the UK release of Cult of Chucky, which is the 7th movie in the franchise, the 2nd straight-to-DVD release, the 3rd one directed by character creator and series scriptwriter Don Mancini. If you want to know our full thoughts on it, there's a video on the Big Damn channel called Chucky. Give it a watch.
There's several videos on the Big Damn channel about several films at the moment.
But for those faithful listeners who know we were excited about this movie coming out, we talked about the trailer on Big Damn Cast. Let's just give you a few spoiler three thoughts. A spoiler three thought.
Three thoughts. Spoiler three.
There's credits, there are scenes, and some people die.
3 thoughts.
Those are our 3 spoiler thoughts.
Lots of blood. Some actors are better than others. And that Fiona Doris is pretty good, isn't she?
Fiona Doris is amazing. Fiona Doris is absolutely fantastic. And it just, after I watched it, I was just like, I need to tuck in to Do It Gently Season 2. Like, I really need to tuck in.
I need to tuck in Do It Gently Season 1.
She's great in Do It Gently.
I've seen the first, 3 episodes, I think.
She's terrifying in it. And really enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
Talks like this. It just sounds really all odd and oh god. So it's a sequel to Curse of Chucky, in terms of being the most direct follow up. So if you've got required viewing, maybe watch Curse of Chucky
Sequel
before
to
you
Curse
watch
of Chucky,
this.
prequel to Puppet Master versus Demonic
How
Souls.
dare you, sir! Puppet Master versus Dollman. Or whichever one. No, there was a Dollman versus Demonic Toys, wasn't there?
Was there?
Or a Demonic Toys movie with Dollman in it. It was one or the other, yeah. What's that company called again?
Full Moon.
Full Moon, yeah. They just make crossovers with their own properties all the time. So it's if you need to do any required reading, maybe watch Curse of Chucky. Because this one immediately follows on and has the same protagonist. It's pretty great. If you enjoy your schlocky slash
I love him.
If you enjoy a
I also really like my
slasher
sibilant
movie,
S's.
yeah, then give it a watch. If you enjoy Living Doll movies, give it a watch.
What, like Mannequin?
That is technically a Living Doll movie. You're right.
Like Toy Story.
Yes. Oh, see, the genre's more diverse than you'd imagine. It's not just dolls killing people.
No.
Sometimes it's stories about friendship and family and imagination and childhood.
Like Ted.
And shagging a mannequin. Oh, God. Was there a sequel to Mannequin?
I'm not sure.
I think there might have been a Mannequin too.
Mannequins.
Should have been called. Oh, my God. Actually, no, on second thought. Definitely worth a watch. It's a lot of fun. We kind of rated it when we recorded our cult episode as like it's sort of in the middle.
Yeah.
Like it's none of them are terrible. There's one that is very questionable and not brilliant, but it's not an awful movie in every way.
How dare you talk about Child's Play 2 like that?
How dare you? I love Charles.
I know it's not Child's Play 2.
How dare you, Squire? This is sort of slap bang in the middle, worth a watch, and also it's just good to encourage like decently sort of told and well-made movies that are going straight to home video release.
Yeah.
So if you are going to watch it, it is on UK Netflix soonish. If you're in the States, you've already got it on Netflix. Or head to Asda and chuck out £7 at a DVD copy. Because you get some cool special features about how they make the animatronics and things like that. So, huzzah!
Huzzah!
And if you think you know your Chucky movies, you don't know anything. They rip up the rule book in this one, set fire to it, and then write a new rule book on the diner menu that it happens to be sitting in whilst it's redrafting. It's just mental. It's really, really weird.
And the teaser for Venom is really out of left field. I didn't expect they'd do that, but...
Oh, and Tom Hardy shows up in the post-credit scene.
Yeah.
And then takes a shit on a copy of Amazing Fantasy 15. And then says, "We don't need him. Did you know your data can roll over? But Sky Mobile is different.
Sky Mobile!
I'm going to steal these sugar cubes.
I'm going to put this sugar in my pocket. I don't leave it in there when I put my cardigan in the wash.
Oh, I'll have a sugary washing machine.
Very, very sticky. Mr. Wayne.
You bought your sugar. I stole mine. Throw the bonnet. I bought sugar until I was a man, and I started stealing. So yes, let's move on to something that's really fucking fun. Spoil-free thoughts on Thor Ragnarok.
Ragnarok and fucking roll.
Beautifully put.
It's... So Thor Ragnarok,
Yes.
as I'm sure you know, dear audience, is the third Thor movie,
Mm-hmm.
the 17th MCU movie.
That's how many it is.
17th MCU movie.
17 in 9 years.
Directed by Taika Waititi.
And only 1 year without one.
Oh shit, yeah.
2009 was the only year we didn't get one.
Ah.
Weird thought, isn't it?
So, this story sees Thor.
Does it?
Sees Thor.
Sea Thor.
Yes.
Thor sees Sea Thor by the seashore.
Well, basically, what happens is Hela, goddess of death, is released from a millennia-long imprisonment and decides that she's going to conquer Asgard and use it to spread out and take dominion over more than just the 9 realms, over all the realms.
She's going to claim everybody.
And she breaks Thor's hammer and she casts him out, and he ends up on the junkyard arsehole of the universe, planet Sakaar, ruled over by the eccentric tyrant, the Grandmaster. Yeah, so much like maximum Jeff Goldblum. And the Grandmaster has gladiatorial games and Turns out that the Hulk is one of his champions. And then Thor's like, okay, well, I've got to get off this planet, and I've got to get back to Asgard, and I've got to find a way to defeat Hela. And that's Thor Ragnarok. And he beats a ragtag bunch of misfits along the way, and you see some old faces, you see lots of new faces, and you have a great time, and it's metal as fuck. Like every frame of this film could be the artwork to like an Amon Amarth album, or just spray painted on the side of a panel van. Like, you see an airbrush on the back of someone's leather jacket or something, and with a drinking on in their hands. Like, it's the kind of thing I'd wear. Like,
I would happily have that picture of the Valkyries riding into
Hela. Oh my days!
To fight Hela from that flashback, which looked like a living painting. It was beautiful.
Well, we'll talk more about that in spoilers, but it is bonkers.
It is. It's mental. Like,
it's just nuts.
The first Thor had a quirky charm. Like, Kenneth Branagh brought the gravitas and focused on the very sort of Shakespearean, the royalty and the kingdom kind of elements of it.
Good old Shuckles Branagh.
He brought that to it, but then also allowed it to be goofy when it came to Thor on Midgard, hanging out in a diner, hanging out with, a quirky teenager and an older scientist and a beautiful lady who will leave you between movies for reasons. So yeah. But there was a goofiness to that first Thor movie that was sprinkled in and was quite enjoyable. Part of the reason why I don't love the first Thor is because I do think all the Loki stuff's really dull. Because it's just lots of emo, whiny, crying kind of stuff.
But it sets up...
Like, Loki's not Loki, but it sets up Loki, the Loki we were expecting and know and love in Avengers. So it did the groundwork.
And also Dark World.
Yeah. Dark World...
Like, Loki's the best thing in Dark World, hands down.
Thor the Dark World had a giant problem in that they went... And do you know what I think it is? I think it was a tone setter more than anything. Yeah. It wasn't the director's fault, but it was the appointment of him. I'm trying to remember the guy's name. Alan Taylor. Yeah. They basically went, Game of Thrones is popular, let's do that. Let's get a Game of Thrones director, let's have several battlefield scenes that are just swords and clanging. Do you know what I mean? Like they dowered it down a bit, because Game of Thrones obviously is like, look, you enjoy it, but it is very dour and dark and sometimes depressing in places, in terms of like that whole, it's the eve of battle, oh god, we're gonna die. Thor the Dark World felt like that for pretty much most of the movie. Yeah. The only levity in that film was the occasional Kat Dennings one-liner, some stuff that Loki did, and that giant dog thing, like just disappearing through a portal and stomping around, and that brief bit on the tubes. Like, that was kind of it for levity.
Pantless Selvig?
Yes, but again, it sort of dropped really quickly. It's just like, the events of the Avengers have left him insane for some reason. Moving on! But yeah, it's... Thor the Dark World is one of I think the two weak links in the MCU. That and Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2 feels like a placeholder, and Thor the Dark World feels like a... Let's do that thing that people like. Oh, it was kind of dull. Well, I guess we'll still put it out.
Yeah. It's fine. It's a functional, action movie.
Let's cast a damn fine actor as the villain and give him no English-speaking lines to say and no interacting scenes with anyone other than a brief conversation with Thor's mum.
Which is definitely a mistake they learned from in this one.
Yes.
Because they got Kate Blanchett to play Hela, and she's brilliant.
Yeah. I still don't know if they fixed the villain problem. I think they just allowed an actor to enjoy being the villain.
She's certainly one of the more compelling villains the Marvel movies have had.
But I was after the movie, I was thinking, if you read the script and just read it and weren't listening to Blanchett's delivery and the tone and everything that's being set with the visuals and the pacing, I think Hela would still read as kind of, all right, okay. But I think because the tone of the movie overall, and clearly that kind of sort of slightly sarcastic, no fucks given edge that she brings to it.
Yeah.
Like, she's bringing a holy mission. She's bringing about the end of days and the rule over several dimensions and worlds. Yeah. And she's sort of treating it with the flippancy of like, well, this is fun.
Yeah.
And so I think Blanchett's performance and Taika Waititi's directing is what makes Hela possibly the best MCU villain since Avengers Loki.
Yeah.
Certainly on par with, Ego.
Yeah, Ego was really good.
Ego was really good. And again, I think that's Kurt Russell and James Gunn's tone for that movie.
I feel like what they've done with this movie is sort of listen to the criticism that's been coming out recently of all the Marvel movies feel the same. They all feel the same formula. And they just kind of turned around to Taika Waititi and said, you know what? do your thing, mate. Just go to Australia.
Yeah.
I know it's from New Zealand, but they shot in Australia. And like make the weird sort of Jack Kirby influence sort of pseudo comedy action movie that you want to make. 'Cause it is funny. It's very funny.
Yeah.
It's easily the funniest MCU movie outside of Guardians.
Yeah, I was going to say, I still think
Guardians tips it.
the first Guardians has it.
It's funnier than Guardians 2. It doesn't have the pathos that Guardians 2 has.
No.
The Guardians 2 is like less funny.
This doesn't...
Guardians 2 has more of a
This film is lacking a little bit on pathos and depth.
It gets to it, which we'll get to in spoilers. Like,
yeah.
there's bits of it that aim for it, but it never really digs in.
But at the same time, I think when it comes to the MCU, I don't think this movie's going to blow you away if you love all the films. I think Guardians is still sort of set the bar for that. That's that kind of chaotic rug pull. Like, what the hell is this? And Civil War sort of in terms of stakes, that whole thing of, oh my god, they're actually pulling off this balancing act.
Yeah.
But this is definitely in the... If there were like 5 categories, one was sort of the most boring, and that's Iron Man 2 and Thor: The Dark World, did it?
Yeah.
And like 5 has got like Guardians, Avengers, Winter Soldier in it, for example. This is definitely in the 4. Like, this is sat very firmly in the 4, probably on the wall between 4 and 5, like sneaking something cheeky into 5's camp.
It's probably got the most personality.
My metaphors have made no sense.
It's got the most personality of any of the Marvel movies, I think. Even more so than Guardians. Like, this is very much Taika Waititi going, I'm doing a superhero movie, and it's going to have all my idiosyncrasies in it, and also big explosions and fights.
Yeah.
And,
I'm gonna have a despot, like, crazed leader of a horrific gladiatorial society where everyone is basically either my slave, my underling, or my sort of devoted subject. But I'm not going to play it like that, because I'm going to cast Jeff Goldblum, and he's going to be really fucking charming and weird.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, fair enough.
It feels like you just kind of got a bunch of people on set and just like, just do what you want.
This is the best Thor movie.
Oh, hands down. Hands down.
Oh god!
Because you take Thor out of
the first Thor movie the first Thor movie felt like the JMS, like modern reboot post Civil War post. What was the other big event before that? Siege, yeah. No. Siege was after the first run of that, wasn't it? Thor
it led into that. So it's like, it's post like Siege.
It's post Ragnarok.
Yeah.
The first Thor movie felt like the Thor comics after Ragnarok had happened.
Yeah,
in the comics.
when Thor comes back after Civil War.
Yeah, that's what the first film sort of invoked. That weird sort of grandeur and scale and mythos, but also that interaction with humanity and the quirky weirdness of that.
Yeah.
The second Thor movie was sort of like it was Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, but without any charm or character really, and it didn't quite work.
Yeah, they leaned into the sort of the fantasy angle of it,
which is fine. But what's fun about Thor is that it's fantasy told through a sort of slightly tongue-in-cheek lens
and weird cosmic space stuff.
This one was like 60s, 70s batshit mental.
Well, I've been reading a lot of early Marvel recently, and like early Thor, when it's still getting into mystery, goes through this weird like Jack Kirby and Stan Lee start it off, and it's like, oh, this is Thor, and it's kind of fine, and then Jack Kirby steps away from it for a while, and then Joe Sino does some of it, and it's kind of like really stock standard superhero stuff, like, oh, I love Jane Foster, but I can't be with her because I'm Thor, and it's a villain of the week, and I fight the villain and defeat the villain, and then, Jane Foster, and that's like
Jane Foster.
That's like every Thor story. And then what happens is Jack Kirby comes back.
Yeah.
And also they turn the backup feature in Journey into Mystery into Tales of Asgard.
Yeah.
Which is Stan Lee and Jack Kirby going like, okay, we're going to do these Norse myths, but we're going to do it Marvel Thor style.
Yeah.
And it's like weird, colourful Kirby designs, like medieval / sci-fi weirdness.
Yeah.
And then that stuff starts seeping back into the main Thor stories, and it starts to get weirder and cosmic. And then, of course, when you get things like when fucking Walt Simonson, Jesus, I couldn't remember his name now. When Walt Simonson comes onto it in the 70s, it goes full on mental, weird, sci-fi, cosmic. That's when he gets to fight Beta Ray Bill and things like that.
Yeah. This film has sort of embraced that vibe so hard. And then chucked a cheeky bit of sort of like that 80s kind of neon glam in there as well. Just little hints of stuff like
particularly Sakaar.
that.
Sakaar, although they've kind of taken the idea of the planet from Planet Hulk,
Yeah.
it's way more dour in that story, where in this they've turned it into like, it's the architecture of it and the layout of it and the costumes of the people, that is very Kirby-esque.
Yeah.
Like,
it's this mishmash of old technology bolted together against new stuff. It's sort of sci-fi, but still has this kind of, there's an architecture to it all.
It feels like this is sort of, this is coming out in his centenary year, so it feels like this movie is sort of a tribute to Jack Kirby. Because there is so much of his visual language
there's a ton.
in it.
He's credited as well at the end. It's like based on comics by
co-creator,
Stan Lee, Jack Kirby,
Larry Lieber.
Larry Lieber, yeah. Which confused me because I was like, hang on, Stanley Lieber, what's going on here? But I had a moment. But yeah,
there's bits in this movie that look like the Kirby-esque Fantastic Four movie that I have in my head that's never going to get made.
Yeah. Oh god, that's depressing. Right down to having a rock monster. So yeah.
Fuck yeah. The best rock monster in film history.
Loki's storyline gets carried on in a nice way.
Yeah.
Heimdall's storyline gets sort of a weird little tangent. And Idris Elba gets like fourth credit. He's really not in it that much.
No, but he has, but strangely has more to do than either of his previous appearances.
We meet Scourge, so the Executioner's in the movie. Carl Urban rocking a weird pseudo-Australian / Cockney accent.
And also a big bald head.
And twin machine guns called Des and Troy.
Which is... the twin machine guns thing is from Walt Simonson's Thor run.
Were they called Des and Troy?
No, I don't believe so.
Because that was missed.
No.
Kate Blanchett as Hela is having a ball. Like I say, I'm not sure if the material would stand up as well without her and Waititi's direction. But she's having a ball, and I think you will come away from this going she's the most fun villain from Marvel for ages.
Well, I think it's one of those things, where your material falls short is where the actors pick up the slack when they're good. And they are good in this.
Yeah,
everyone is brilliant.
Cast.
Tessa Thompson.
Tessa Thompson is great as Valkyrie. Where's Tessa Thompson from?
She's American.
I noticed a few accent slips, and I was a little confused.
Well, everyone's accents all over the place in this movie.
Apart from Kate Blanchett's.
But Kate Blanchett.
She's sort of posh, and then when she gets nasty, it sort of slips a bit and goes a little dirty.
Kate Blanchett's always perfection. She just doesn't know how to not be.
Hopkins is back briefly. In a couple of interesting scenes, one slightly more exciting than the other.
Yeah.
Hiddleston, Loki's back, and he's full-blown Loki. He's sort of restricted a bit more compared to Dark World, which is ironic because in Dark World he spent most of it imprisoned. But he's got more to do, and it's fun. It's always fun to see Loki in these flicks. It's always cool.
Well, it's nice to see the interplay between him and Thor.
Yeah. Oh god.
And that relationship,
absolutely.
and how that relationship has evolved through Loki's constant fucking betrayals.
Well, and how they both play each other. There's a moment in this, which we'll get to in spoilers, where Thor suggests something to Loki, and then Loki does it, almost to defy him.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, and he's doing it for selfish reasons, but he's doing it to prove that he wouldn't do the other thing that Thor assumed he was going to do. God, who else? It's if you saw Doctor Strange, from the mid-credit sequence.
Forgetting one very big green guy.
We'll get to him. Stephen Strange pops up in the movie briefly, and it's a nice little continuation. I think that's how you do the MCU thing without overdoing it. It didn't divert too much from the movie. It was more like how's he involved in this? And he's like, yeah, I've been monitoring your shit. I know how to find. So here's your leg up. And it was like, okay, setting up relationships for later. That's nice. It sort of reminded me of Stark at the end of Incredible Hulk. It's just oh, they're in the same world. Okay. Or Hawkeye and Thor, the first Thor. It's like, oh, they're in the same world. And I think Cumberbatch is obviously having fun.
Well,
playing.
Why would you not?
A definitely more comedically angled scene where he's the straight man.
Mm.
But that scene's great. We'll get into that in a minute. And of course, Mark Ruffalo, who's in the movie a lot, albeit not necessarily looking like Mark Ruffalo.
No.
This is the most interesting use of the Hulk so far, I think.
And Hulk is brilliant.
Because everybody wanted a Planet Hulk movie. You're not going to get that.
No.
But you kind of have now. The visuals and a big chunk of that. I mean, I think we talked about this before, but when he's sat around in his pad and he's got the sort of the kill and the beats.
That's Ultimate Wolverine versus Hulk.
I was going to say that's a reference to Ultimate Wolverine versus Hulk.
Yeah.
Because I was like, that looks so familiar. Is he going to tear Thor in half?
No, sadly not.
But like, so we've got a Hulk who's been the Hulk roughly for 2 years, since we last saw him.
Yeah.
So has developed a vocabulary and is sort of like a toddler. Like,
very much like a toddler.
yeah, and
like
sort
a
of
moody toddler.
gets the basic grasp of what friendship means, and he knows he's always angry, even when he's not raging. He's always angry, and that manifests as sort of more of strops and things like that. His decor in his flat is amazing. he has a giant Hulk-sized bed that's made from a massive carved and inscribed jawbone of some kind of massive creature.
I think it's a whole skull.
So cool.
And the jawbone is like the head bone.
Yeah, because he racks up and throws it at one point. It's like, ooh, you've really fucking broken it, mate.
Yeah.
Hulk's a really nice addition, and it expands the mythos. If you're one of those people who's like, oh, before I go and see it, I want to brush up, but now you've got 16 movies. I would suggest, quite simply, watch Age of Ultron. I think that's the one you really need to maybe brush up on beforehand. For the sake of Hulk's storyline and Thor's storyline. Aside from that, you can pretty much grasp everything as you go along.
Yeah.
Look out for a couple of really nifty cameos early on.
Yeah.
Really weird scene.
Yeah.
And Taika Waititi himself is in the movie too, providing the voice of oh god, what's his name?
He did motion capture for Korg and
yeah.
another character, and he also voiced Korg.
Yes, he did. He's
so...
freaking great. That was just a case of like, well, if I'm directing this, I'm going to play that role because I've always wanted to wear one of those suits with the ping pong balls on. It's great, really enjoyable. Spoiler-free conclusion for Thor Ragnarok.
It's
Thor Ragnarok.
It's it might
best Thor
be
movie.
It might be the most fun you have at the cinema this year.
Yeah. It's
like,
a party. It's a party in your face, and everyone's invited.
It is like there was like absolute guffaws in the cinema at various points. Like this movie is. Ours was a quieter screening,
and there were several bits where myself and some the other people scattered around would just sort of went like out loud at certain things.
Yeah.
So even on a quiet screening, people.
This is very much an action comedy.
Yeah, it'll be
sci-fi
this
action comedy.
And more so this than Guardians, but this is kind of proving what happens when you give directors who work with comedy a lot the chance to make an action sci-fi.
It just feels like they've loosened the reins on Taika Waititi for this.
Yeah.
In a way that they probably have learned from their experience with Joss Whedon on Age of Ultron and Edgar Wright on the aborted Ant-Man, which obviously then went to Peyton Reed. It seems like they've sort of stepped back a little bit.
Yeah. Like, let's see what I've got a feeling they might be doing that with Coogler for Black Panther.
Because also, without wanting to spoil anything, there isn't really much seeding in this.
No.
For Infinity
War.
There's
2 post-credit scenes, one that I think is directly leading into Infinity War. Yeah. And one that is more just a nice little PS for this film.
Yeah.
But it's not like done in a way where it's like, see you next year. I think that post-credit teaser is being saved for Black Panther. Yeah. The direct sort of setup is being saved for Black Panther.
It uses continuity to enrich its story rather than continuity bogging the story down like it did with Iron Man 2.
Yeah, or Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So, yeah, check it out. I give it, if we're doing like an out of 5, probably give it a 3. There's 3, maybe a 4. I'm sort of in between them. Like, I really enjoyed it. Like, really enjoyed it. But I can see people who might be a little tired of this whole thing, not wanting to dive in.
See, I think it's kind of refreshing.
Yeah, I agree.
I give it a high 4. And
I know you really dug it because you texted me last night. You just went Thor, Ragnarok, and fucking roll. Just got all this stream of text all in caps.
This is my text to you from last night when I immediately came out of the movie. I said, Thor, Ragnarok, and fucking roll. Bonkers. Completely bonkers.
All these are in caps, by the way.
I want safe passage through the anus. Actual line of dialogue. Best movie ever. I sent those messages over the space of 2 minutes. That's 7 messages.
It's true. It's true. My phone just buzzed continuously for an extended period of time.
I really, really dug Thor Ragnarok.
And
It feels like a movie that was made for me.
And it dug you. Right into you.
Shall we spoil it?
Let's dig in.
So if you haven't seen Thor Ragnarok,
Or
stop listening now.
Unless you have, or you don't care.
It's out now in the UK. It's out on November 3rd in the States. We're doing this early because we can. So suck it up. Also, it means we can talk about Stranger Things all next week. So go
Freedom!
Yeah. What awesome stuff happened in this movie that we want to talk about?
Let's start light. Let's talk cameos. Doctor Strange cameo obviously is a lot of fun.
Yeah,
that's funny.
It's an extended cameo.
Yeah, it's a scene, but the way that happens is amazing. Like they're there going to find Odin. They got the care home that Loki apparently left him because they imply because and I think scenes were shot for that because there's footage somewhere of Hopkins on the streets of New York in a slightly more like sort of hobo-y kind of get-up.
I think from the trailer it seems like some of the stuff with Odin and the arrival of Hela might have been in New York at one point. And it might have changed that in post-production.
Yeah. So
I feel like there's some green screening artifacting in that whole scene.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what the deal is with that.
But I really, really like the way that it starts. So you just see the ring appear, like the sort of the ring of Sitarak appear around
Loki.
Yeah, is it not Sitarak? Is it?
No, it's just like the
it's a sling ring. Yeah,
the sling ring.
Sitarak's the gem that Juggernaut has, isn't it?
Yeah.
Although it gets mentioned, it's in some of the spells.
Sitarak is a deity.
Yeah.
In the Marvel universe.
You see that cheeky little like cartwheel, like thingy wheel appear around Loki's feet, and he just plummets. And then Thor gets like the calling card left there, basically like, "Come talk to me."
Yeah.
Goes to the Sanctum Sanctorum, and he has a chat with him. And it's we saw part of that scene in the Doctor Strange post credits
with the ever filling beer glass.
But it's the fact that they keep shunting around, and every time Strange is just fine with it, and Thor's like, "Ugh."
Well,
it's slightly offset.
It seems like Doctor Strange has definitely been practicing his magic in between movies. Like he's very in control here.
Yeah, and he's got his yellow gloves.
He's got his yellow gloves, so that's
big
cool.
old yellow gloves. And then Loki releases Loki, who drops out. I've been falling for 30 minutes, just continuous falling for 30 minutes in a portal somewhere. And I like the fact that it's almost like like Benedict Cumberbatch and Tom Hiddleston are sort of contemporaries, and they're known as being pals and stuff. So it's like, a scene with these two, and it starts with Loki just immediately being like, "You have wizards now. Like I'm gonna kill you, wizard." And the thing just goes, "Bye," and just like sling rings them the fuck out of there immediately. It's like, oh, okay, that's it for a scene between two of England's sort of current contemporary actors within their field.
And it's also Thor when he first seen him, was like, "Oh, you guys have wizards now."
You have wizards in Midgard.
Okay. Fine.
But it's nice to know that Doctor Strange is like, I've been keeping track of this, that, and the other on Earth, and like, obviously there's Guardian activity.
Yeah.
You brought your brother here. I was immediately alerted to that. Like, why the fuck is he here? The guy who the last time he was on Earth freaking brought an army of aliens.
Which they also pick up on later on, like at the end.
Yeah, he's like, "You sure going back to Earth is a good idea?" It's like, yes, of course. Like, they love me there. I'll be specific. Do you think bringing me to Earth is a good idea? Probably not.
Yeah, you see, Loki does seem somewhat repentant for his sins.
Yeah, a little bit. I think he's sort of in between still.
Yeah. He's in the midst of a redemption arc, I feel.
Or at least he's definitely trying to convince people he is. Because when Thor first goes back to Asgard, we witness Odin, a.k.a. Loki, a.k.a. Anthony Hopkins, probably the scene that convinced him to definitely come back to film some stuff.
Anthony Hopkins.
We're going to have a scene where you play Loki pretending to be Odin. He's just like, Father! Oh shit. My son! But yeah, just lying around being fed grapes by beautiful women, watching a play called, was it The Tragedy of Loki of Asgard? Yeah. Which is basically the story of Loki sacrificing himself, and you've got 4 actors in the background dressed as the Warriors 3 and Sif, like, mourning. And Thor cradling Loki.
Yeah, it's a recreation of like his death scene
from Dark World. And then Odin comes in and says like a final piece about it. And there's a little blue Asgardian boy like painted blue to look like Loki's a baby. But the best part is, now I didn't realise who Thor was.
No.
But Thor was played by...
So the actor playing Thor in the play is Luke Hemsworth.
Yeah, so a Hemsworth brother.
Yeah. The
actor playing Loki is a heavily made up Matt Damon.
He's not that made up, he's got a black wig. He looks very different with a black
paled
wig.
up as well.
Oh yeah,
he's sort of
pale,
like, like Lucy went, is that Matt Damon? I went,
yes, it's Matt
is
Damon.
It?
It's Matt
and then
Damon.
when he sort of sat up a bit, I was like, oh yeah, it is. But best of all, frickin' Sam Neill as Odin. It's like, what is this? What is going on? Just like basically an Asgardian version of Murmurs.
Yeah.
Like, they're just there, just doing little plays. Like, this is so weird. And I like how Thor calls him out. Like, he's just chatting with him, and it's so apparent to him within moments.
Yeah.
That Loki, because the idea is between Age of Ultron and now, Thor's been travelling the 9 realms trying to figure out what the vision from Age of Ultron meant.
Yeah.
It's possible that he spoke to Heimdall in the interim, because Heimdall has already been kind of... It seems like Loki's exiled him, or he's self-exiled himself.
The way they
self-imposed
explain
exile.
It's like,
because he's preparing for Ragnarok.
It seems like Loki tried to do him in.
Yeah, so he's disappeared.
And
that's why Surge is now sort of the Asgardian... Scourge, sorry.
Not Surge, he's not a soft drink.
Surge. Scourge is now the Asgardian in charge of the Bifrost. Yeah, because at the beginning when Thor's like, Heimdall called it, and no one's doing it, because obviously Heimdall would hear him.
Yeah.
So it's like, fair enough. But yes, oh god. I love the way he does it. Like, he just throws Mjolnir, like, he chucks it, like, a mile away.
Yeah.
And then holds Odin to his chest.
Holds
Odin. And then he grabs the back of his head and holds his head outwards. And he's like, Mjolnir will return to my hand. Nothing in its way will stop it. And then, in the last second, Odin ducks aside, turns back into Loki, and he's like, right, fucking got you.
Gotcha, motherfucker!
Where's father? What happened to Odin sounds pretty horrible. It sounds basically like some whammy was put on him, and he just forgot who he was put in an old folks' home.
Yeah.
And has got to the point where he's ended up in Norway, obviously sowing the seeds of, here's where they're all tied to. This is, naturally, he would sort of, an Asgardian would gravitate toward the place where they were most worshipped in the centuries gone by.
Yeah.
But it seems like Odin knew he's going to die. Like, he feels it.
Well,
he knows he's about to pass, and with his passing comes back one of his biggest regrets.
Well, I get the implication that he's choosing to pass because...
Well, I think he's figured out
that
Ragnarok is going to be brought by his daughter.
Well, he mentions that his wife's calling to him. So I think he's probably just got to the point where he's like, you know what, I'm just going to let it go.
Of course, because he's like, release the spell you've got. And he's like, no, it took me a while to break free, but, I accepted it. So you're like, oh, yeah, good point. It's just like, his wife is calling to him from another side, like from Valhalla, probably. Yeah. So, like, come join me. But I think he's aware that his passing releases Hela from wherever she is.
Oh, yeah, no, because he warns the bot, yeah.
So he basically is like, the end of days is going to happen. Yeah. It's Ragnarok is going to befall Asgard. And Thor's been travelling the 9 realms, finding out from different people in the 9 realms, many of whom have a grudge against Odin and Asgard, that they want to bring about the end of days, specifically Surtur.
Well, yeah, the movie starts with him taking Surtur down.
Yeah. With a glorious sequence.
Yeah, lovely Clancy Brown voice performance. Some very petulant Surtur.
And a sequence that I'd like to refer to as Mjolnir porn.
Yeah.
Because it's just, this is what the hammer can do, this is how good it is.
This is how awesome Thor is with his hammer.
Dragon leaps at him and he just drops Mjolnir into its mouth.
So it's just pinned to the floor.
Pinned to the floor, and he's just like, stay there. And he's calling to Heimdall. So yes, Odin vanishes, and you find out that he had another child. His firstborn was Hela,
which is new. That's not a comics.
That's
thing.
new in the comics. Isn't she Loki's daughter?
No, in the comics, like Hela's just her own thing. She's just like the guardian of the North.
Who's Loki's daughter?
Asgardian underworld. I don't think Loki has a daughter.
I'm sure they're related somehow in the comics.
I don't believe so.
Because in this, they are adopted siblings. In that, he's an adopted child of Odin.
Yeah.
But obviously she's the direct sister of Thor. But they don't even do anything with that about, him going like, oh no, we must reconcile. He's like, no, she's going to tear everything to pieces.
They've kind of taken that element of her backstory from Angela.
Yeah. Well, I noticed as well, like, her teaming up with Scourge as well is sort of like, the Executioner's usually partnered with the Enchantress. Yeah. So they kind of they've it's the Iron Man thing of, like, they're sort of chopping and changing villain traits.
Yeah.
because the Executioner, I don't remember being a remotely sympathetic character in
No,
any
he
of the
isn't.
stories I've read with him. But in this, he's very much, he doesn't really do much.
No, he's conflicted because like
He always wanted to be something.
he's a bit of a butt monkey.
Yeah, and with Loki and well, with Odin suddenly being a bit more flippant and going after Heimdall, he's like, right, I'll do that. I'll step up. And I'll take little joyrides to Midgard and take things like a moped and 2 machine guns and do all this sort of
Des
stuff.
and Troy.
Like they make him more of a light-hearted character. And then I was sort of a bit miffed. I was like, it would be cool if he sort of did step up to the plate and take on one of them at some point.
Mm.
But I think the way his story ends is quite nice. Like,
Yeah.
in the end, he does do something worthwhile. Like, and people see him doing it, so he dies. Spoilers. He dies knowing that, like, he's left a mark. He's done something significant. But I think had he been like all raw and like raged out, it might have been too close to Curse from Dark World, which was, you know, like, here's Malekith and Curse is his bitch. So yeah, I like how Hela just sort of like instantly took a shine to him. She obviously was like, you seem like a bit of a toady, but it might be fun to let you kill people for me. Okay, come on. Like, I was Odin's executioner, you can be mine.
Well, I mean, that the whole... I think basically they put the Executioner in it so they could do the scene from Walt Simonson's run on Thor.
Yes! Oh, shit! I mean, they even do that in the end credits as well. Like, that's the sort of the painting of him when Karl Urban's name comes up in the end credits. There's a painting of that with him about to swing the machine guns into the horde.
So that's basically what they did.
We got another disposable army, but it was kind of a little bit more tragic this time around in that they were deceased Asgardians who died in noble battle back in the darker ages.
Well, yeah, the whole thing is that when she was before she was imprisoned, Hela was basically the leader of Odin's armies, and they conquered
This is back when
Nine
Odin was a
Realms.
conqueror rather than a noble, wise leader.
And then Odin decided that at some point was like, oh, I can't do this anymore. I've got to do things peacefully. Hela tried to seize the throne because she was...
she said like she feared him because my ambition grew larger than his.
Yeah.
And he covered her up so much that Asgard is barely aware of her.
They forgot about her completely.
Yeah.
Buried everything.
Certain
Covered up all
Asgardians
these
would never have heard.
these
And they
engravings and paintings.
like just
papered
straight
over
up
everything.
Straight up papers. I love that. It's just Asgardians wallpaper in it.
They're still going to have papering.
But like that's it's a cool idea. It's the idea. She's like, I'm not here on some kind of hell-bent revenge so much as I'm just pissed off that you did what you did.
Yeah.
And I've come back to do what I was doing. Like, I'm going to take it a step further. Because it's not getting revenge on Odin, because Odin's gone. She knows Odin's dead, and that's why she's back.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I'm able to be here now.
She's conquering.
Yeah.
She's a conqueror.
I thought you'd be pleased to see me. Blanchett's freaking scary and kind of smoking.
She is.
The one sour note, and I've already talked to you about this, that I have for this movie, is how quickly and wordlessly they dispatch 2 characters from the previous movies. So, when she first rocks up in Asgard, 'cause I love how they do that. Like, she's in Norway and she goes to attack Thor and Loki. Thor's going to fight her and Loki calls for the Bifrost. They open the Bifrost and Thor's like, no! And she wanted this. Because she couldn't have got there otherwise. She hitches a ride on the Rainbow Bridge of Asgard and smashes them both out of the time stream.
Yep.
As they're travelling. And she ends up there. And you see Volstag's, like, dealing the door. Like, the sword, the key. And you're like, yay, Volstagg! And she stabs him immediately.
Yep.
And then Fandral steps up, Zachary Levi in his little beard again, little Robin Hood beard, stabs him. They both start to get up, and she shoots multiple knives into them, and then they are dead. And it's like, oh. Now, I get, you point out to me, so that obviously it's there to show that, like, she fucking means business.
Yeah,
but I think from a storytelling standpoint, you need to do that. You need to have had a scene with them in this movie. I don't know. Just one scene early before. I think you could do that, but you just needed like just one moment earlier on. Do you know what I mean? Like just to reconnect with them. Even them watching the play, even and being like, "That's not how it happened." Just like something where you're like, "Oh, it's those guys, yeah."
That being said, though,
it was almost too quick to register.
They'll definitely have been Loki as Odin would have been keeping them at arm's length anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think for those deaths to show that no fucks are given, I think you needed to show that these guys. Oh look, it's our main cast from the last 2 movies. Yay!
They're not though. They're not main.
Well, they
cast.
were in one. In one, the Warriors 3 and Lady Sif were a big part of it because they're the ones who find Thor and bring him home.
And they weren't really in 2. Like Hogan,
they were in the first. Hogan's written out.
Fucks off straight at the start.
But then Hogan gets his due in this one.
Here.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of just feel like you needed that extra moment so that when they died, it was more, oh shit! Instead, I was like, oh, all right. Oh, I like those guys. There's no Sif, but you said that's due to Sif's.
Yeah,
to Jamie
Alexander's all caught up in Blind Spot.
It'd have been nice if there'd just been a throwaway reference, because I guess the way you've done it now is she just can't be in it anymore. Because where would she be?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They don't even reference her, I don't think.
No, well, she's in the play.
Yeah,
there's one of them at the back dressed as Sif, and that's it.
But then no one asks about Sif.
No one mentions the Warriors 3. No one says like, "How are you, brother?" or anything like that. There's none of that. Heimdall doesn't even really reference at any point anything that he's done in the last couple of movies, aside from being the keeper of the Bifrost.
There may well have been a scene with the Warriors 3 at the earlier on in the movie.
Give me a one shot.
That movie.
Stick a one shot on the Blu-ray.
This movie moves so fast before it gets to Scar, though.
Yeah.
Like you're in Muspelheim, then you're in Asgard, then you're on Earth again, then you're in Norway, then you're in the Bifrost, and then Hell's on Asgard, and they're on Scar.
Scar, yeah.
Boom.
Before we forget one of the cameo. Oh no, 2 cameos. 3 cameos after this point.
Yeah.
Stan the Man, of course.
Please, kind sir, don't cut my hair.
That's fucking hilarious. And I love the fact that was one of the ones that Lev recorded in bulk, that James Gunn directed. Because he directed, I think it was James Gunn? No, it was either James Gunn or Scott Derrickson.
Probably James Gunn.
I think it was James Gunn, yeah, but the first one of them from this batch they shot was the Doctor Strange on the bus. Oh, this is hilarious. Yeah, they shot that, the Homecoming one, the Guardians 2 one, and this one, and whatever the next one. It might be Black Panther, I'm assuming.
It will be Black Panther.
And I think that's when they got some extra photos of him as the police chief as well to sprinkle throughout the Netflix shows. Yeah. So yeah, but this is the most elaborate Stan cameo as far as like his costume goes. And I love the way he references it later. It's like, what happened to your hair? Oh, some creepy old man cut it all off. It's the second time a character slagged him off. It's like creepy perv, whatever it was in Guardians. Oh my god. But he looks hilarious, just like smiling away as this giant razor blade covered gauntlet thing on his hands, selecting something to cut Thor's hair with. Oh god. So Stan's cameo, obviously. Black Widow's cameo is lovely.
Yeah.
It's so well done, and it's why I think Age of Ultron's the required reading for this movie.
Yeah.
Because it's the video call she's trying to make to Banner as the Quinjet's flying off at the end of Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Like, it's obviously saved, and that being seen... Because the Black Widow ties into the story earlier on, when in the arena Thor tries the whole... And it sort of works for a moment, because it'll be the first time he's heard it in 2 years. So he sort of starts to go along with it. Like, he isn't like going all docile, but he stops for a second and he reaches his hand out and Thor lets Thor touch his hand. And then he just grabs Thor's hand and fucking bashes him around. Yeah. And Loki gets up and goes, yes! That's how that feels! It's like, I love when the Hulk first burst out and you got Thor's reaction of, yes!
And Loki
shits himself. And then you see Loki just shit himself and start to leave. It's like, yes. That's great. But yeah, the Black Widow cameo worked really nicely, and again, I imagine based on the angle for it, they probably shot that specially, because it didn't look exactly the same as what was obviously filmed in Age of Ultron. But it's nice that they did that. I think that was cool, and the idea that the thing that woke Bruce up from like basically being stuck as the Hulk was seeing Natasha.
That's one of the first things he asks as well.
Yeah,
when he sees how's Nat.
Yes, he says how's Nat, and then he says like. I think he says how's Nat, and then does he say yes?
What?
Yeah. When Thor's like, she's not here. What happened to Sokovia? Sits down, he's like, Thor, it's good to see you. He's like, what happened to your hair? Creepy old man cut it, whatever it is. He's like, looks good on you. It's like, is Tony here? And he's just like, But then the third cameo of note is one of the buildings that makes several appearances.
Oh, there's several cameos in that.
Well, not that building. Now you've mentioned it. There's an addendum.
Okay.
One of the buildings that makes constant appearance is the Collector's Mansion, which is the building that can be found in Disneyland in California. California Adventure.
Wait, the Collector's Mansion?
The Collector's Mansion. It's what's his name? Tavarian.
Yeah.
It's the Collector's publicly accessible archive.
Oh, okay.
It's Tovan, isn't it? It's the Tovan collection. It's in Disneyland. If you want to visit it yourself here on Midgard, you can visit it at Disneyland's California Adventure Park in Anaheim.
That's actually hilarious.
It's the home of the ride Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, which includes in the foyer a giant portrait of Tovan and the Grandmaster playing chess and the Grandmaster losing badly. That building makes several cameos in the skyline of Sakaar, which I thought was a really nice touch. It's like, oh my god, that's It's the same building that's in that Disney park is there.
Nice.
Basically saying, like, because they mentioned in that ride, they sort of throw a mention of, like, there are several ways to access his collection throughout the cosmos, and this is the Terran access point, or the Terra access point. So it's like, oh, well, there's the one on Sakaar.
Yeah.
So if you walk into that building, you're in that exhibit.
Nice.
Filled with stuff, including, like, Asgardian weapons, the Warriors 3's weapons are on the... Well, I'll really quick detour. The queue area for that ride's full of Easter eggs.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm never going to see this unless I suddenly become a millionaire and we all go to California. But it replaced the Tower of Terror in California, because they can't do Marvel rides in the Florida parks, because Universal has the Florida rights to do Marvel superhero stuff. Yeah. So, and the Tower of Terror is amazing, but the best one's in Florida, so they turned the one in California.
And also, how are they going to top David S.
Pumpkins? The Tim Mann collection. Any questions? Yes, several. But there's loads of Easter eggs in there. There's Stanley. There's a video of some of the internal collection. Stanley's in one of the things asking who validates parking. There's like Hollywood Tower Hotel, so Tower of Terror artifacts hidden in there. There's an Ultron sentry that occasionally, in its case, sort of sparks to life and moves its head and then dies again. Like, it's like the upper half of one. There is Beta Ray Bill's Stormbreaker is in a case. There's a bunch of stuff from like the Ancient One and like all the Sorcerer Supreme kind of like artifacts are in. There's like a sling ring and things like that.
Nice.
Figment, the dragon mascot from a bunch of old Epcot rides, is locked in one of the boxes hanging above.
Fantastic.
The Yeti from the original Yeti from the Matterhorn ride is in one of the part of the collection of the thing. So it's this weird mix of Disney and Marvel stuff locked in cases.
You got Disney in my Marvel.
There's like a dark elf mask and stuff mounted on the wall. It's like, this is really cool. And some of them in the artifacts you see in the film, like the what was suspected to be the Adam Warlock cocoon from the first movie, is in a case in the lobby and stuff like that. And they keep changing it all the time. They go in and they change stuff. There's like things from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in there, and so they've said always look out because you never quite know what's going to make it.
You never know.
But it's nice that attraction is in one of the movies. That is such a cool thing. But like you said, there's another skyscraper covered in carved like faces of, I'm assuming, previous champions, maybe.
Yes, in the Contest of Champions. A nice shout out.
Which is nice.
The Grandmaster, that was the first sort of Marvel Comics crossover. It predates Secret Wars by a couple of years.
Well, there was two Contest Champions, wasn't there? They did a second one.
They did do a second one.
Because I read the second one.
Yeah.
Because it was like Thor versus Storm.
Yeah, it was all like weird. No, original Constitution was like a 3-issue miniseries. It's basically like Grandmaster got a team of heroes, and then someone else got a team of heroes, and they were pitted against each other to get these MacGuffins.
Is there another series in the 90s where they're all teamed up to fight each other?
There is another Contest of Champions, yeah.
It might be Contest of Champions. I'm sure it's called Contest of Champions 2. I'm sure that's what
I don't know anything about.
Storm fights Thor, and it's such an even match, and then he goes up to her, and he basically, like, mid-fight talks about how freaking amazing she is, and they sort of flirt briefly, and then he just grabs her and snogs her, sucks all of the thunder out of her, and then she falls unconscious, and he wins the fight. Spoiler alert, he's not acting himself, everybody's being affected by these microbes that are making them all think... Yeah, because I think they all think it's similar to what's happened before, but it's actually a plot by the Brood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Now, that was weird. I thought... Because there's no way Fox are ever going to use the Brood. I thought they'd find a way to sneak a Brood cameo into this,
Yeah,
considering there's a Brood in Planet
one of the
Hulk.
Hulk's warbound.
I didn't think they'd go that far, but at least maybe like a skull or like, put pictures of them or something.
We
amongst
do
the
get a couple of
champions.
the warbound here, but we only get a couple. We get Korg and Meek, and that's it.
Poor Meek.
And Meek doesn't really say anything. He doesn't speak like he does in Planet Hulk.
And Korg doesn't speak like he does in Planet
No.
Hulk.
But again, the building.
It's the Iron Man thing of we're taking elements to create a tapestry that works perfectly for our story, and fans will go, "Oh, it's that! Oh, it's that! Oh, it's that!"
The building we're talking about with these heads of champions
Yeah.
has the heads of Beta Ray Bill
Yes.
and
Oh, that made me happy.
and Ares, the Marvel Ares,
Yes.
not the Woman Ares,
Which is how you get away with acknowledging him, considering they're probably never going to be able to use him properly.
and also Beast.
Yeah, 2 freaking heads. Correct me if I'm wrong.
And someone else, I think. I'm going to look.
Correct me if I'm wrong. There is one with like a sort of little antler in front of his head. For a second, I know it isn't because it's a different design, but I was like, is that Black Bolt? I was like, no, it's not Black Bolt. Can't be
No.
that. Black Bolt's got more of it, because we've now seen what Black Bolt looks like in Inhumans. His design is still more of like the little fork almost.
And also, why the hell would Black Bolt be on the... I know they keep trying to make
Inhumans a thing.
Inhumans a thing, but it's never going to be a thing. Like, people are rejecting it. They are rejecting it. Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm looking.
Go away, Inhumans.
But that was
shites.
That was a pretty good,
pretty
pretty good little set of cameos.
Pretty good.
In there. I'm trying to see who else was on the building. It was Beta Bill was the most, like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, Beta Bill! Yay! Like that.
You were. I wasn't in the cinema, but I could hear you from here.
Yeah, you could hear it in my face. Because Beta Bill's great.
Can I buy you an action figure of Beta Bill?
Yeah, I've still got him. I've not got my Marvel Legends at my flat at the moment. They're still my parents, but
Because when I found that, I was like, oh my god, this is fucking perfect. I'm getting him this. And then for ages afterwards, I was like, what if the jaw moves? And I never asked you. Is the jaw...
yes, it does.
Yay! Because
Yes.
they did that with a few of them around that time. Like, Beast has got, like, a movable jaw and stuff, and I wondered if they'd done it to Beta Ray Bill as well. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I can't find
The
it.
dream is to just see him one day. Just him be in there somewhere. You could sneak him into, like, Guardians 3, surely.
Well, I think it was a nice little shout out because, like,
Xandar gets a mention as well.
Xandar gets a mention. Apparently, Taika Waititi wanted to bring John C. Reilly back for this, but couldn't.
As his Nova.
As Roman Day, but couldn't work out to fit him in.
I mean, fair enough. I understand that.
Which, is fair enough because, yeah.
Yeah,
where you
it
gonna
would
put
be
him?
difficult.
We're going to put him.
Let's talk about the other spaceship driving, once Guardian of the Peace and Defender of the Throne, and now just a drunken, like, kidnapper.
Tessa Thompson's Valkyrie.
She was great.
She's so good.
And I love the idea that it's basically she's making her own Valhalla, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, she's fighting, she's discussing war and all that stuff, and just getting sloshed.
Yeah.
Because as far as she's concerned, she's got no honour. She's the only Valkyrie to survive an attack on Hela in, like, Hela's presumably final days of before she was in prison.
She was the only survivor, and only because one of her friends took
took
the blade for her, and she was left for dead.
So she feels like she doesn't earn an honourable death, and she's ashamed. So she fucked off, found Sakaar, and decided, right, here I can fight, I can watch fighting, I can still be, I can still experience combat.
Yeah.
And I can just drink my fucking cares away. And because again, like, that's the whole thing. They don't do a thing of her being like, I know what I'm doing. It's, she doesn't know what she's doing anymore with herself. Like, she's become a scumbag because it's how she gets by. I mean, it's her introduction. She just stumbles out the spaceship, walks down the ramp after this really cool intro, just sort of stumbles and falls off it. And lands on, like, a big sort of spider-headed dead thing. Like, leans on it and her hand sticks in it. And you sort of see the dust and the dried blood. So
Yeah.
She's like, guess she's like, ugh.
Man-Thing. That's who the other face was on the
Was
tower.
Man-Thing on there?
Man-Thing. Beta Ray Bill, Man-Thing, Beast, and Ares.
But wait, hang on. He who knows fear burns at the touch of the Man-Thing.
Yeah.
How the fuck did it get out to Sakaar?
Nexus of all realities.
Fair enough.
Next question.
Next. Okay. That's a fucking cool. Again, I guess it's because they were like, we need a bunch of faces that aren't humanoid. Go.
Yeah.
What have you got? Seeing all the Hulk pinatas and things like that was really weird and interesting. I love the fact that he gets hit by that green paint thing. It was like bloody shit. What was the thing I did in India earlier this year? It was the oh god, the celebration of I'm gonna have to double check the name because I don't want to get it wrong. It's like a celebration of just like life and happiness and everything, and people celebrate by like hitting each other with powdered paints.
People fucking love Hulk on Sakaar.
They bloody do.
No wonder he didn't want to change back. They loved him there.
Oh my god, what was it?
He loved
Holi.
playing up to the crowd.
Holi. Like they celebrate Holi.
Oh, okay.
And there was like some kind of weird nod to that in this with them knocking green paints in each other's faces. I just love the fact that Banner like steps out, hit by green paint in the face. It was like, that's what it looked like if we were still Lou Ferrigno in this. Yes. Like Mark Ruffalo with green paint on his face.
Ruffalo Buffalo.
Ruffalo Buffalo. It made me really sad at the end. Because he obviously realises that the Hulk can save lives by stepping in.
Yeah.
But he does it knowing that he might not ever come back. Because the way he describes it is terrifying.
Yeah.
He says, like, I always feel like we both had hands on the wheel, but this time was different. This time he had the keys to the car and I was locked in the trunk. Just like,
Terrifying.
Okay. Like,
and he has no memory of it.
It was always erratic, but now...
Now, he obviously knows that he was Hulk.
Yeah.
And he knows that Hulk was in control, but he had
and he's
no
probably
sense of how long it was.
He's probably going to see himself in the mirror at some point and be like, I've got more grey hairs than I did last time I looked in the mirror.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Because again, they're keeping the continuity of the Marvel films roughly being released, for the most part, with the same progression of time between them.
Yeah, Hulk's been gone for 2 years.
He's been gone for 2 years now. There's been, Age of Ultron was 2015.
Yeah.
It's 2 years between them. Thor's been travelling through the 9 realms for 2 years, like, disrupting plots and trying to find out what the prophecy was about. And finally, with Surtur, does he sort of discover something where he goes, yeah, this must be it. Like, he's planning Ragnarok. It has to be this. I wonder how long you've been in that cage talking to a skeleton.
That was brilliant. That was a brilliant opening. Everything's just so offbeat.
A weird gag got rid of a continuity query when Hela walks into Odin's trophy room, sees the Infinity Gauntlet from the first Thor movie and goes, fake! And shoves it to the floor. You're like, okay.
Casket of Ancient Winters is weak.
Yeah, like, doesn't give a fuck about the Casket of Ancient... The device that causes all the fucking chaos in the first movie.
Yeah.
She's not... The Tesseract, she's sort of like, eh. Then Loki looks at the Tesseract later when he goes down there to get Surtur's thingy, and they hold on it for a second.
He's like...
And then the next shot, they cut to him grabbing Surtur's crown.
Do you think he takes the Tesseract?
Yeah. Oh god, yeah. Are you kidding me? Asgard dies. That's not left behind. Can't be. Thanos needs it.
Well, unless Thanos picks through the wreckage of Asgard to get it.
I don't know. It was kind of definitive.
Yeah, no, but the Tesseract...
I think Loki took it.
The Tesseract will presumably be indestructible.
I think Loki's part in Infinity War is very much going to be, thank you, welcome back. You have my gem. Can I have it now? Good. Right. As a reward for your allegiance, so I'm going to make sure that you're on my side. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think Thanos is going to give Loki a place.
Opulent.
I think Loki's going to do Siege. I think Loki's going to die in the events of Infinity War, actually redeeming himself properly.
Yeah. So they can do Teenager Loki Agent of Asgard style.
Never do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoy Teenage Loki, but never do that.
They're going to do it though.
I don't know. I think Loki is one of the elements that you do have to tie up this phase of the films.
I was thinking about this, and I'm thinking...
Because otherwise you're just going to keep telling the same story, which Thor talks about, like, I know exactly how this works. You betray me, we forgive you, we join forces, everything's going fine, then you betray me again, like... Because he even says, they sow the seeds, he says, like, that's the thing about people. People grow. And you don't grow. Like, you're never going to grow. And then Loki comes back to help save the day, not because he thinks it's the right thing to do. He does it to prove his brother wrong. Because he even turns it into an excuse to be smug. He's like, your saviour is here! And all this. Like, he's just lording it up.
He loves that shit.
He's just lording it up. He shows up with his helmet. It's like, look at me, you motherfuckers. And he's just doing it to be, like, see? There you go, brother. See, I did the right thing in the end. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just him being a smug fucker and going, see? You're wrong about me. I did it right. You know he'll team up with Thanos as soon as the opportunity's given. but I think then he'll come back around. I think we're going to see Loki 2 more times. I'm going to see him in Infinity War and second half of that film.
Yeah.
Part 1 he'll be a villain because it's like the start of the Avengers finale as we know it. So you bring back their best villain as part of and it ties into that theory that we really want to be true, where we're going to be seeing some, like Thanos' muscle is going to be tied into the villains that perished at the hands of the artifacts and stuff. Because like Malekith died in the ether, and the Red Skull disappeared into the Tesseract. Do you know what I mean? Like there's ways to do it. Like Ronan was eviscerated by the what's it?
Destroyed by the power gem.
Destroyed by the power gem. So Thanos can bend reality and shit. Like what's to say he can't just go right, bring those guys back out? Like Dormammu was sealed in a trap by the time gem.
Yeah.
So
do we see? I've been thinking about legacy for the Marvel universe because it's clear that they're introducing the next set of Avengers.
Yeah, or if not Avengers, definitely that these are the guys whose films are going to interlink and intertwine as we go forward. They'll call it Avengers because it'll be marketing, won't it?
Do we think that...
not the Revengers.
That was pretty good. Do we think that Tessa Thompson's Valkyrie is going to be the replacement for the team going forward?
I'll tell you why I think that's a big old yes. Because Portman stepped away.
Yeah.
And I think were Portman still game, they would have gone into
Jane
the
Foster
female
Thor.
Thor. Yeah. Like Jane Foster is now Thor. There you go. Even though the rules in the films don't work the same as the rules in the comics do.
Yeah, because they talk about this, like, the hammer doesn't give you your power, it focuses your power.
Yeah.
You're actually more powerful without it, you just need to learn to use it.
Yeah.
And which you do see when he goes all full on riding.
And we get the second version of that sequence.
Yeah.
But with no hammer this time.
He's just lightning all the day, motherfucker.
His one remaining eye glowing. I like the eye patch. I think that's quite cool. Like, just make him Odin. He's just Odin now. He's Odin. Thor.
I think
Thor, Odin, brackets son.
I think there was some concept art for. There's a couple of bits of concept art for Infinity War. One where he's got Yarnbjorn, which is the axe he has.
Yeah.
Before he got Mjolnir, and since become the Unworthy in the comics, and also with the metal arm that he has as the Unworthy,
which I think,
and as Old King.
Yeah,
as King Thor in the future sections of Jason Aaron's Thor: God of Thunder, which is fucking fabulous, by the way.
Which I think now what they do instead is more cameos. I think it's more like we're going to use these things you visually love and we're going to put them in the movie. But based on minor spoilers for the San Diego Comic-Con details that leaked about the Infinity War tease, based on that, the ship in the post-credit scene, the mid-credit sequence, is Thanos.
Yeah.
He's going to get all of the Asgardians, and I think they're going to be a bargaining chip. I think having that species is going to be his bargaining chip. Yeah. I think, or maybe that's his bargaining with Loki. It's like, right, thanks for helping me as a reward. You and your people, I'm going to let them live. You can pick somewhere, like you have somewhere yours, and you can rule over them again.
Asgard's been destroyed, but Asgard is not a place, it's a people, and they've rescued as many of the Asgardians as they can. Yeah. So now they've got to find a new home.
Yeah. And that footage began with the Guardian's spaceship, like, bumping into Thor in the middle of space. Yeah. So, we can presume he's been thrown overboard and dethroned in some way.
What about Korg and Meek?
Oh, they'll die. They'll die.
I like Korg.
And then that's fine. Like, that's fine. They are great, but, you know, if you're gonna have casualties...
Yeah, I mean, I love Korg, but I can't see that character working in a film with a more serious tone, because he is a funny character. Piss off, Ghost!
Maybe they briefly drop him. He's gone. Maybe they briefly drop him off at a pit stop somewhere between the end of the movie and the mid-credits scene, and then he ends up in Guardians 3.
Or maybe they follow Loki, because Loki's the leader now.
Yeah, could be. Oh no, I mean, there's interesting directions it could go in. The post-credit scene is obviously just a nice little stinger of the Grandmaster congratulating the ravaged groups of his subjects who live on the fringes and search for scrap-off food.
Well done, it's a revolution, and you can't have a revolution without someone to overthrow, so
I do my part.
It's a tie!
It's a tie.
It's so good!
Nice. It would be a shame if he never showed up again, but I also would be fine if he never showed up again. Because it'd be like, you look at the tapestry of the movies and you go, oh, that was the one with Jeff Goldblum in it.
Yeah.
That was the one with freaking Kurt Russell in it. That was one with Jeff Bridges. You know what I mean? You can point out the ones when really cool actors popped up.
What, Tony Stark built this in a cave.
A cave with a box of scraps!
Bridges.
There was an essay doing the rounds on the film website and Twitter was spreading it.
Fuck's
Which
sake.
I kind of agree with. They were like...
These film lovers and their essays.
Can Marvel stop making the villains mirror versions of the heroes? I was like, what do you mean? And then I realised, oh yeah, Obadiah Stane, Ironmonger's basically Iron Man but bigger.
Yeah. Red Skull.
Red Skull.
It's
Well, Red Skull's different in a way. I mean, it's the same power set, but he's that whole thing of he becomes a dictator of his own, military force.
He's a Nazi.
And he looks completely different. Like it's not a direct mirror. But then you've got Black Panther. It looks like Killmonger's going to be wearing a Black Panther armor for the final sequence, we presume. And it's sort of like, oh yeah, like Yellow Jacket and Ant-Man. It's like 2-2 Shrink. It's like, yeah.
Can we get Egghead in the sequel, please?
No. Warner Brothers and Fox will be like, no, that's associated more with our brand. Thank you very much. And Marvel like, cool. We'll use Scarecrow. No. Don't do that. Please don't do that.
The porcupine.
Yeah. Frogman. The frog reference in the play. That time turned me into a frog. Yes, you must admit that was funny. It was hilarious. It's like, oh my god, they referenced Frog Thor.
Let's do Get Help.
Oh, that was brilliant. I don't want to do Get Help. It's embarrassing. It works every time. It's fucking great. That was nice because it sort of reminded you of, again, I think the closest cousin to this movie is the first Thor, simply because this one does sort of continue the family aspect.
It sells the brother relationship, which kind of got lost in the Dark World.
Yeah, I mean, it's there, but it's mostly there in the first half.
Yeah.
And when Frigga dies, like, it sort of touches on
I mean, I would argue that movie, like, ceases to be as compelling once Loki, inverted commas, dies.
Yeah.
Because he's probably the best bit of it in the Dark World.
I disagree. Best bit of Dark World is the Chris Evans cameo.
Which
is fucking great.
Yeah, which is great.
Oh shit, I was going to say one more thing about this one. Bing Bang Boom. I like the fact that there's no sort of, Thor doesn't try to reconcile with Hela.
No.
He realises there's no point. Like, there's no point.
Because
she's not doing this because she wants to get revenge on Father. It's like, she's doing this because this is what she wants to do.
Yeah.
She's a villain. I don't know her. I'm not going to try and get to know her.
I've just been told she's my sister, but I'm going to bond to her.
Like when he's just I love that. Like when they locate the realm, the little hidden part, the lair where Heimdall's been keeping all the Asgardians safe. She locates it, and then even though it's probably miles away, she just hears the staff on the throne room floor just clang. He just keeps doing it casually until she walks back through the door.
Well, that's Gungnir. That's Odin's spirit, so presumably that's got some sort of enchantment.
I just love that idea that she's just like, I'm going to kill them. Oh, who the fuck is this?
Oh, it's Thor.
She goes back. He's just like, "Hello, sis," and you're like, "Okay."
I like how
that fight scene's really cool.
I like how
she's very much more powerful than him.
I like
which makes you root for him more because he's really going at it to try and win.
I like how Thor has adopted Darcy's speech pack.
Yeah. He talks like Midgard is obviously his favourite place.
Yeah, he doesn't talk like an Asgardian anymore.
Everyone else does.
Loki less.
Loki's a bit more
Loki's been around a bit more.
But Loki's more sort of talking from that sly, wry trickster kind of, fuck you, I'm bigger than all this kind of thing, whereas Thor is very much just like, I have adopted a shit ton of dialect from Earth. That's just how I speak now.
Like, you can send an electronic mail.
Which is like, okay, do you have a computer?
No, but I need
that for. I love the idea that someone set up, Thor at avengers.stark.net or something, and he can't access it because he's nowhere near a computer.
But also, that he considers the Avengers a job.
Yeah, he's a friend from work.
Which, of course, he would, because presumably he gets put up with a room and money for essentials.
The implication, aside from Dark World, with him going back to Asgard briefly, the implication then between Dark World and him going off to travel the Nine Realms at the end of Age of Ultron, the implication is that in that 2 or 3 years, he's just doing Avengers jobs. So he spent a good couple of years, like, living in Stark Tower, probably, like, walking the Earth a bit.
Living with Jane for a bit.
Like, meeting people.
Also, it also means that the shorts that Taika Waititi did with Chris Hemsworth and Darryl Jacobson are not canon.
Oh no, they can't. They can't because they specifically refer to Civil War conflict.
Yeah.
And also banners in them.
Yeah, and they are funny.
They're
very funny.
They're fucking funny.
This is Thanos. What do I know? But he likes Infinity Stones. He's purple, and he doesn't like standing up.
I forgot about that. Oh my god! Because I did wonder. I was like, why did they not put those in the Civil War Blu-ray? That would have been a really cool extra feature. And then you realise because they don't want people to get confused and think that
they'll be on the Ragnarok Blu-ray
and think that they're one shots.
Yeah. They're very funny.
I'd love to see the one shot return. It would be nice.
Yeah.
The last one was Agent Carter, wasn't it? Which ended up basically being
the stealth pilot.
A fucking stealth pilot for the show,
which was good. And I'm sad it didn't get those.
I think 2's still quite good for it, like, because otherwise it would have to elaborate a little too much. And it's nice to think. It's nice to there still be an element of mystery as to the early years of S.H.I.E.L.D. and everything. Because we get a suggestion of it in Ant-Man, like where it went after another couple decades.
And in Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
As well.
Hot damn.
Yes.
Call the police. And the fireman. Surtur. That's what I'm getting at. Called Surtur. I also like how Ragnarok was definitively Ragnarok.
Oh yeah. Asgard is gone.
Yeah. And they realise, like, it's like, no, you can't stop it. We're meant to let it happen. That's the point. The prophecy that Hela is part of Ragnarok isn't that she causes it. She dies in it. Like, we have to let her die here and now. And she's fucking dead.
She's gone. Well, she draws her power from Asgard.
Yeah.
And there's no Asgard anymore.
Unless she finds its people. She survives and finds its people
well,
somehow. Maybe that's the
see.
trick. Who knows what Destro Dream?
Because they also mentioned that Thor gets his powers from Asgard. But he's still got his powers after Asgard is destroyed, presumably.
Well, we don't know. We've not seen them in action. So maybe not. Maybe that's what, the weapons come in. It's like he has to sort of, like, channel what's left from its people and from its history.
Maybe he's powered by its people. Who knows?
People power.
Oh, there's to dream.
Speaking of people power, if you'd like to spread the word about this podcast, then please do very much so by
spread it all over toast.
Let people... Toast? Don't like to see two men kissing. Toast? I don't see what the fuck it's got to do with you. Spread the word, Big Damn Cast, let people know all about the show, ladies and gentlemen, because we do love having a little audience here, but the thing is, if you want it to grow and you want people to find it, you need to spread the word. There's only so much we can do. So
we will have to do more, but we need more of you!
So
do let
peeps know. Don't forget to tune in on the YouTube as well next week on Halloween during the day, because the final Tricks and Treats stream will begin. The final Tricks and Treats series, which may or may not be the first of something new.
We'll see.
So dive into that one, ladies and gentlemen. And also, of course, you can catch the Chucky Watch series we just dropped as well. So do give that a go. If you want to contact us during the week, bigdamcontact@gmail.com. If you see Thor Ragnarok, let us know what you thought. And, of course, get in your predictions for Stranger Things Series 2, because we're going to be talking about that next week.
Yes, we are. I'm going to binge that shit this weekend.
I've been the Devil's Anus.
And I have been...
the hammer that pulls me off.
Yes, I was gonna say, I've been pulling you off, but you beat me to it.
Leaves a sour taste in the mouth, doesn't it?
Not if you pull it.